If someone asks you the question of what are the most important things about Call of Duty Zombies, some may answer perks, others maps, and even some may say Easter eggs. However, today we're going to rank wonder weapons from worst to best. This list will be my opinion, and we're going to rank all guns from Black Ops 3. So that includes all of the Chronicles maps as well. So let's just get started. Coming in last place, at number 18, we have the ray gun. This weapon is definitely the first wonder weapon of all time, but it is definitely not the best. It makes crawlers around like round 10-ish, and it definitely does not take you to the high rounds. However, it is definitely nostalgic, I'll give it that. At number 17, we have the ray gun Mark II. This is definitely the younger brother of the ray gun. However, it is definitely better. There's no splash damage, which is the worst part about the other ray gun. But it is a 3-round burst. It definitely carries you to like the mid-20s, maybe early 30s. But I would definitely take any other weapon on this list over this, but it's definitely not bad. At number 16, we have the KT-4. I despise this weapon. First, you have to craft it on Zetsubo, which is already a chore. 2, it only kills like one zombie at a time if they're not grouped up. And it's just not fun to use. I mean, it only gives 50 to 100 points at the max for, killing a zombie, but it's just not good, and I would rather have honestly anything over this stupid weapon. At number 15, we have the Wrath of the Agents. This is the basic bow that you get when you're filling up the 3 dragon heads on the Horizon Jack. It is definitely very mid. It makes crawlers again like the ray gun, but the only cool thing is it has a lot of ammo, like I want to say it's 75 shots. And it's just a bow, which makes it unique, and that's why it's up here. At the number 14 spot, we have the ray gun Mark III. Now this weapon can be found on Garad Krovi. It is definitely a very fun weapon to use. It's definitely a camping weapon. On the right blaster, you have a regular ray gun. On the left blaster, you have a black hole launcher. And if you mix the two, you can just sit in a corner and camp forever, but the unfortunate part, it's on Garad Krovi, and I'm not the biggest fan of that map. That's why it's so slow, but it's definitely a very cool concept. At number 13, we have the baby gun. This weapon can be found on Shangri-La. This weapon is definitely very cool. It basically shrinks the zombies, and then you can just punt them, like that episode from South Park. It basically doesn't do any damage in theory, but it definitely does infinite damage technically when you can kick the small babies. 100% definitely fun, but the unfortunate part, it's on Shangri-La, and it's, no one really likes Shangri-La too much. But yeah, if it was on any other map, it'd definitely be ranked higher. In our number 12 spot, we have the Wonderwaffe. This can be found on the Giant, Verrucht, Setsubo, and yeah, I believe that's it for those, but it's basically a chain weapon. It's an electrical chain weapon. You shoot the horde of zombies and it makes a huge chain of zombies, does infinite damage. The only negative of this is the low ammo, and 2, also it hurts you if you get too close to the chain, and which I know in the older games it removes your jug, which is just absurd. But yeah, definitely up there. Just wish it didn't hurt you. At our number 11 spot, we have the fire bow. This is an upgrade from the Wrath of the Agents on the Horizon Track. This bow is definitely good, but I feel like it is definitely the worst of the 4. It just shows way too much animation, making like your trains very hard to do. I just don't really like this one personally. There's definitely other ones, but it's totally not the worst thing in the world. Cracking the top 10, we have the Void Bow. This weapon is definitely cool. I remember just getting is definitely a process, but shooting the zombies, these skulls come out and they like eat the zombies, which is very unique, and I find that really interesting. Definitely better than the fire bow, but not as good as the other 2 bows above on this list. At number 9, we have the lightning staff. This weapon is definitely good. However, the contrary, it's just a bad Wonderwaffe. You can obtain this on the map Origins by getting all those parts and like with the tank and stuff. It's definitely hard to do that stuff, but the only good thing, it has more ammo than the Wonderwaffe, but it definitely does less than the Wonderwaffe. That's why it's up here, because of the ammo, and also because it's on Origins. It's definitely just a very good map overall. But yeah, it's definitely one of the better, I would say, wonder weapons, but definitely not the worst. At our number 8 spot, we have the Wolf Bow. This bow is definitely my favorite aesthetically. It is basically a ghost maker. It is like all blue and green, which I love the colors of it. Basically, you just use it. It just flashes the zombies away, and that's it. It does make like some zombies do kind of fall over. They don't die, which means you have to use more shots. But it's definitely a lot of fun to use, and definitely personally my favorite bow, but definitely not the best bow. At our number 7 spot, we have the Storm Bow. Now this is definitely the best bow. and it's definitely very hard to obtain because the bows are very convoluted stuff and all that. Basically, you just sit in a corner with this thing and you can get around 1 billion. If you hold it down, it makes a tornado, and the zombies just get stuck in the tornado and then does infinite damage. Has 75 shots. It's definitely very, very solid. Definitely one of the up tier best wonder weapons of all time. I'm just not the biggest fan of the Rising Jack because of the convoluted process of getting these, but definitely up there. On number 6 spot, we have the Fire Staff. This can be obtained on Origins when getting all the parts for killing the Panzer, doing Gen 6, and then shooting down the golden airplane. It's definitely fun to use. Definitely not the best staff, but it's totally good though. Yeah, it's fun using this thing in the early rounds, but you probably want another staff over this. Definitely one of the easier staffs to obtain, and the craft and the upgrade for sure. But it's definitely a lot of fun to use, but not as good as the other staffs. Cracking the top 5, we have the Wind Staff. Now this staff could be obtained on the map Origins. You just have to get stomped on by the robot with the open foot. They obtain all 3 parts. Definitely one of the best staffs. It's basically like a mini thunder gun. The unfortunate part doesn't do as much as the thunder gun though, but it has more ammo, which is the drawback. Definitely cool. Definitely love the look. It's yellow, which is cool and all. Yeah, but definitely a lot of fun to use, and it's definitely one of the best staffs on this list. Number 4 on this list, we have the Ice Staff. This is the best staff to obtain, but it comes down majority RNG, but you can usually get it in the early rounds if you spend your points wisely. Basically, you get it from when it's snowing. You can dig up the snow pieces and then craft it, and then you have the Ice Staff. It's definitely my favorite staff and probably the best staff because it does the most damage, has the most ammo, and it's just everything about it's just amazing. Basically, what it does is it just freezes the zombies, and then they just explode in ice, and boom, they're gone. I believe it does a lot of damage. I don't know if it's infinite though, but it's definitely really good. Definitely my favorite staff, and it's the go-to staff on Origins. At our number 3 spot, we have the Zap Guns. You can obtain this on the map Moon via the mystery box. I just love using this thing. It's 2 dual-wield little zap guns. You shoot the zombies, they do a little Wonderwaff effect, but they don't chain. And then when you stick them together, you basically have a thunder gun, and you shoot them, and then they turn into puff pastries. The only bad part is it's on Moon, and I know people don't really like Moon, but Moon's kind of underrated in my opinion. But yeah, it's very, very good, and I really think it's definitely one of the best wonder weapons of all time. Coming in at number 2 spot, we have the Apothicon Servant. This can be found on both Revelations and Shadows of Evil. You can craft it on Shadows of Evil, but it can be found in the mystery box on Revelations. It's definitely the best wonder weapon in terms of just coolness. I mean, it's literally some alien you just put on your arm and it shoots a black hole and it just kills zombies. The only bad part is it has like 11 shots I think at the most. You can upgrade it on Revelations but not Shadows of Evil. It's definitely the best wonder weapon that I constantly think of. Again, it's a black hole launcher. I just wish I had more ammo. That's why it's at number 2. Coming in at number 1 spot, we have the Thunder Gun. This is my favorite wonder weapon of all time. I mean, literally, it's an air cannon. You get this out of the box on Revelations, Ascension, and also Kino their Tone as well, and Nocturne Tone. It is definitely my favorite gun of all time. I mean, literally, it's like it's such a get me out of jail free card. You get in a corner and you're like, what do I do? Oh, pull out the Thunder Gun and boom, problem solved. The only bad part is you can't really reload in the middle of your mag, which is unfortunate. Like if you have 4 shots left, and then you're down 3, you can't just press X and reload. You have to shoot 3 more times to reload the weapon. But yeah, this thing is a masterpiece of a weapon. Honestly, it is the best thing ever. That was my list for the best wonder weapons in Black Ops 3. I want to know what you guys think down in the description below. But thank you so much for watching. On a given day, honestly, I could definitely change the order of the wonder weapons, but the KT4 and ray gun gotta go down. I mean, those things are just buns, but thank you so much again.